Off is an RPG where you control the Batter, who is a mysterious individual tasked with purifying a mysterious land full of evil, mysterious specters.
Okay.
This game originally came out in 2008 and was one of the main inspirations for Undertale. So, of course, I've been very, very excited to play the remaster. The original, I had lots of moments of, oh yeah, I'm keen to play that. I'm keen to get to it. Never did. But now there's a version where I can support the developer. So always happy to do that. So as the Undertale enjoyer shock horror, I've been really liking Off so far. I'm about 4.5 hours in and I've gone through 2 zones. I think there's a total of 4, but don't quote me on that. But I'm also still not entirely sure what I'm getting myself into. The game is... The story building is kind of purposefully confusing to kind of add to that mystery. And there's a tenseness in every fight that I go into and every decision that I make. And the game also, through this character right here, constantly reminds you that you're not the Batter. You are you. You put your name in at the start of the game, and the judge, who is this cat character here, refers to you as your name, and makes note of you are controlling the Batter, and the Batter is kind of just this stoic individual that you're pushing through this world. And the turn-based battle systems, as the tutorial is here, you can skip a little bit forward. The turn-based battle sequences, they run on like personal timers for each character. So you're kind of spending a lot of time looking at that bar of progress, just hoping to God that you get there first before the enemy does, especially if that enemy likes to hit really hard. Mm-hmm. There's like spells, they're called competences, but spells that you can do to like make the other character lethargic, so then their timer goes a bit slower, or you can give haste to yourself so you go a bit faster. And like classic RPGs, there's also a strengths and weaknesses system, and it's based off the 4 elements of this world, which are meat, smoke, plastic, and metal. And some characters are weak to metal, but they resist plastic and shit like that. And it is explained that these 4 elements make up everything in the world. The people need smoke to breathe.
Yeah.
The people need the water is all meat. But they need meat to eat and drink, I guess.
And what do you do to beat your meat?
You have the Batter.
Okay.
You batter up.
Swing batter.
Okay, cool.
But it's a very like in its gameplay, it's very much like your standard turn-based RPG.
Sorry, worst Captain Planet ever.
Meat.
But heart is still
God.
there. Heart is still there.
Sorry.
But yeah, the it's very straight, like very much like your standard turn-based RPG. The story is what's kind of really clinging to me in its mystery and its weirdness. There's these people that you're meeting who just seem off. Everything seems really off. They all seem scared to talk to you and scared of the world around them. The main characters that you meet, I think so far I've met like 2, including the judge, who's the cat, who's weird, who's a bit of a freak, purrs every time you talk to it, which is kind of nice. But like the other character I've met was one of the boss characters, and he was horrible and terrifying, but also accused me of bringing the specters into the world, which made me very confused.
Did you explain the story to us, or am I misremembering? Like, what's the top line of this narrative, or like of just the motivation from the start of the game? Of what
you control the Batter, and you're purifying the land of specters.
Okay.
That is it.
Yeah, so you're a baseball player-looking dude trying to get rid of ghosts.
You are getting rid of ghosts. That is your mission. It is constantly said out loud by the Batter. I'm here to purify the world, and I think the simplicity of that makes it more eerie and more like mysterious, which I really, really like. And also, to people like me who really loved the games that have been kind of directly inspired by off. You know, you got Undertale, One Shot, Amori. All those games were turn-based RPGs with a weird twist, or something was out of the ordinary, or, you know, something was wrong, but you didn't know it until it hit a certain point in the game. I'm assuming that's probably going to happen at some point here, which is making it all the more tense for me. So I'm really kind of excited to see what I get hit with, basically, because I love when a game fucks with me.
Is like this, like, I appreciate these kind of games, but there is the surreal, abstract, almost just fanciful weird for the sake, not for the sake of weird, but they feel like that at the start of them because you don't understand the world and you don't understand the motivations. Undertale was one of those games that when I started it, I kind of disliked the first hour or two because it just felt like someone was throwing creative shit at a wall and letting everything go through. And like how long into this, and maybe you're a bad metric measure of this, no offense, but it's like how long would it take someone to go like, I really like the weird, and because you love this.
He said no offense.
Oh, I'm not offended.
No, because you love
You're
this
not
kind
allowed
of
to,
genre
no.
and you love this kind of weird from the start. But like, how long do you think someone who doesn't play a game like this will take till it gets its hooks in, or it kind of feels
Immediately.
I don't know. That's not me.
Yeah, that's
Like this is like the original. It is to
Yeah.
me. It's like watching a classic film that you're told inspired all your favorite movies.
It's like driving
you
a
know?
1967 Ford Mustang.
Exactly.
Because you got here tonight in a 2024 Ford Mustang.
Yep. If it looks like a Toyota Camry, then yes.
it sounds like
Because
There
every
you go.
car to me looks like a Toyota Camry. I'd say like the one thing that was a bit annoying is that like getting around was just a bit of a slog. Like there's not
Yeah.
the only fast traveling that's there is going into the nothingness to go to the start of every zone. And there were like there was a train system where you could go between areas, but only certain parts of those areas. And it was a little finicky, but ultimately it's fine. Like not the end of the world.
A hallmark of this type of game is how rudimentary the gameplay is.
Yeah.
And it can surprise you by being deeper in its gameplay. But is it obvious that this is the first version of what inspired these? Because other games have got a little bit more modern game design or have cut out some of the fat that you find a bit frustrating.
Yeah, it very much like it's like clear in its simplicity that this was one of the first to ever do it the way that it do. But I haven't found that it's held me back in its gameplay. It's frustrating, and there are parts of it which are really hard, but like it's in a sense strategy because you're working
Of course,
in turns and stuff, and like what's gonna work against certain enemies. Sometimes you'll have enemies that have weaknesses to things that you don't have any attack for. I've met so many enemies that are weak to plastic. I don't have any plastic attacks. I found one item that gave me a plastic attack, and it was single use. And so like that was
single-use plastic.
yeah, single-use plastic.
clever.
So that was really frustrating. But I was like, oh yeah, I guess that's just the way of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's the sort of thing where
Nice
like
hit. You did
Nice.
69 damage there.
nice shot. But there's I don't think it's gonna be the sort of game that someone would like if they're not into games like Undertale and Earthbound and stuff.
There's a
But
lot of heart in those games. Is there any, like, this feels slightly, I want to say, like, cold and a bit more clinical. Is that part of this one?
It does feel incredibly cold and
because that's what I
clinical.
like about
Yeah.
Undertale is I like the warmth and I like the quirkiness. This feels maybe a little too sterile in that nature for me to maybe, as I said, I was trying to explain, like, it would take longer for me to get its hooks in and go like, okay, I'm invested in this world now versus I'm finding it quite standoffish in both gameplay and design and obscureness, I guess.
Yeah, I think that was kind of probably a big win for Undertale was the fact that it had a lot of heart and a lot of empathy. And its big thing was do the right thing and make friends and love your friends, right? For this one, it's I don't think
swing and meet
I think that's what Undertale kind of did differently, because this game it feels cold. You're absolutely right, and it feels weird. It feels like you don't belong there, and I think you're supposed to feel a bit off.
I guess
playing it.
I guess it's interesting that having that history of enjoying those later on games, that's why you are back here appreciating this more than maybe you would if this was the first time you'd experienced a game like this and you didn't have those other points of reference.
And also would, I think, take a bit of the wind out of the sails of Undertale if it was clear that Undertale was just totally copying
Ripping this
what,
off, yeah.
what Off did. You know, I think things need to set themselves apart. I'm really interested to hear what you have to say when you finish this.
Yeah, I'm keen.
Because to me, if someone like Toby Fox is inspired by this game, I don't think he's inspired by the first 4.5 hours. I think he's inspired by where this ends up.
Yeah.
And I'm interested to hear.
Totally.
your take on
Like I've the only ways I've seen inspiration of, the games that I mentioned were in the fact that they are turn-based battle systems and the sort of pixel art look that
which
this has.
existed well before, people have
Which
been
is-
playing
yeah.
Pokemon for 20 years before
Exactly.
it came out,
So I'm kind of, I know
You
this.
want it to get
I know
weirder.
that something's getting.
Yeah.
I know that something's off. Like I can tell. I can tell that something is gonna throw a spanner, and I feel like it's got something to
That's
do with the
metal.
fact. Oh,
yeah.
yep,
No,
yep.
use that.
But
Against
it could.
me.
It can be plastic. It
Plastic
just wouldn't
spanner?
be a good spanner.
Yeah.
But I'm really keen to. I feel like it's got something to do with the fact that I keep getting referred to as my own name.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that
It does a
I'm
lot.
controlling the batter.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that
yeah.
just like gave me. I mean, I know I wrote it, but it's weird that they say it. You know?
I mean, this even predates Stanley Parable in asking the player to reflect on how they are engaging with the medium
Yeah.
of video games
Yeah.
as they're playing it. So, yeah, it could be something really epic at the end there. It's cool
Video-
not knowing anything about it.
Yeah.
But here on Back Pocket, we do have the fortune of talking to Meat.
Oh,
We've got Meat.
Lead meat designer.
we've got
We've
meat
got
on the
meat
line.
on
Gonna be
the
excited
line.
again, all right?
That'd be
That
meat.
was
That's
Meat.
what
That
meat
was
sounds
Meat.
like.
Thanks for
That was
joining us,
Meat.
mate.